Okay, hello and welcome everyone to Cricket Clinic, episode number 1. My name is Saim Kashmiri. I'll be your host. And थोड़ा सा इस show के बारे में आपको बता दें, Cricket Clinic, because in this show we'll be discussing cricket in general and of course Pakistan cricket in particular. And we came up with the name Cricket Clinic because the three of us are doctors, 2 of us are medical doctors, and I'm an academic doctor, so I thought the word clinic brings us together. And of course, जिस तरह clinic के अंदर you diagnose a problem, you come up with solutions. So similarly, we'll try to be constructive in our criticism. The aim being to obviously give our input in terms of how Pakistan cricket can improve. So just a bit of background in terms of our guests. We have Dr. Mudassir Mirza. He is an oncologist who lives in Memphis, originally from Karachi. And then we have Dr. Asif Ahmed, who is, I like to think of him as a surgeon who specializes in ENT. But if he wants, he can further introduce himself.
That's fine.
Okay. And he has family in Islamabad. And also, interestingly, part of his family lives in Bangladesh as well. So he brings sort of a diverse perspective to our discussion. All three of us, of course, we are not professional cricketers by any means, but we have been following the game very closely. यहाँ पे जितने भी पाकिस्तान के गेम्स होते हैं, particularly रात के जितने भी देर हो, we try to watch them and then discuss. And so the idea there is to share our thoughts, our insights, and let us know. I mean, this is our first episode, so we are open to feedback in terms of how we can improve this. Hopefully, we'll continue this and bring you other episodes in future. So with this said and done, the basic theme of the first episode is twofold. हम सबसे पहले review करेंगे the Pakistan-England series. It's an ongoing series because as we're recording this, the series stands at 3-3, and we have the final coming up tomorrow. Hopefully, Pakistan wins that. But we're going to review the Pak-England series. That's going to be the first agenda. और फिर उसके बाद हम will look at the World Cup squad and give our input in terms of how do we feel about the squad, what changes potentially can still be made in terms of the personnel and in terms of how we are playing the game. तो सबसे पहले बात करते हैं जी अपनी सीरीज की. So of course, right now it stands at 3-3. एक positive मैं दे के start कर देता हूँ, and then I'll open it up and I'll ask Mudassir and Asif to weigh in. मेरे लिए one of the positives is of course Babar Azam's form. As we know, Asia Cup के अंदर he was underperforming, and because we rely so heavily on Babar and Rizwan, because Babar wasn't performing, that brought a lot of pressure on the other batters, and that was, I think, one of the reasons we did not end up winning the tournament as well. So Babar's coming back to form, I think, is a big plus for us. The century that he made chasing 200, and also the last game where he made, I think, a 60-70 odd run in good time. He seems to be back in his mojo. He seems to be back. The Babar that we know and admire is back. So that is a big plus. And then I'll now open it up. Mudassir और आसिफ आप में से कोई ऐड करना चाहे कि क्या आपके लिए positives हैं? And then we can talk about the negatives as well.
Good, that's it.
So,
okay. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, guys. Very, very glad to be able to talk about our Pakistan team. I'm going to take a step back first and say that this is a huge positive for cricket in Pakistan, maybe not for Pakistan cricket, because not to lose sight of the fact that this is the first time in 17 years that an England team has come to Pakistan. Huge, huge plus from a security standpoint, from a future of cricket in Pakistan standpoint. Hopefully, if it continues without a hitch, we'll have England coming for a test series later this year. We'll have New Zealand coming for a test series. So for the fans of Pakistan, for the local domestic players, huge, huge, huge positive. Another positive, I think, is that there are certain aspects of our team that we were thinking for the World Cup, and I know we'll talk about this more, but our bowling lineup, our spinners, our pace attack, and our openers, which were all things that we knew we kind of had in place, that has been cemented and further confirmed that we know that this is what we need for the World Cup. The last positive, because in my mind, these matches are really, the outcome is irrelevant. This is all about the World Cup. And a month from now, nobody's going to care whether we won 3-4 or lost 3-4. It's all about preparation for the World Cup. And the one good thing I will say about these matches is that we have had some close, tough matches, and we have won when the tension has been very high, when it's been, a lot has been at stake in these matches. And these are the guys who are going to be playing in the World Cup. So to have some of these close matches where you're bowling meaningful overs, you have to really raise the level of performance. They've shown that they can come through, and this is building preparation for similar type matches in the World Cup. So I think that's a huge positive for Pakistan.
Definitely. I think Kasif was referring in particular to the two games that we won with very tight margins. And both of them, I mean, we basically had a below par score, but we were still able to manage those thrillers. So I totally agree that, that experience of tight games, playing under pressure is going to be helpful for the World Cup. Mudassir, आप इसमें कोई ऐड करना चाहो?
I agree with Asif bhai. I think the biggest positive Babar ki 100 and the way we chased 200. दूसरा बड़ा प्लस जो मेरे लिए है वो इफ्तिखार keeps proving that he can be a good spin option or a 6 bowling option. 4 for 16 for 1. That was the match-winning performance, if you ask me. Without that, वो match नहीं जीतने था मैं. So I think और दूसरा positive ये भी है कि I think इफ्तिखार की bad luck चल रही है. He's middling the ball really nice. So उसकी 30 करती वो out हो जाता है. I wish कि once he starts scoring 40s, 60s, वो जो middle order का problem आ रहा है, it will get better.
Yeah, I mean, especially, sorry. I was just saying that last game in particular, the 6th game, he seemed to be in good nick. I mean, the 105-meter 6 that he hit was phenomenal. Right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He seems to be middling.
He was right. 105 will be enough for Australian grounds too.
Yeah, true. Those will be big grounds.
बात है कि वो practice कर रहे हैं, वो 100 meter चाहिए हमें. और दूसरा positive ये कि I think मसला हमारा यही है कि T20 और जो modern ODI, it's a batter's game now. Rules भी उन्हें favor करते हैं, power play. हमारी बस वो पुरानी cricket चल रही है कि we are basically winning on bowling. और it's working out for us so far. वो कब तक चलेगा I don't know. मगर आप देखोगे जब भी condition अगर match high scoring नहीं होंगे तो पाकिस्तान favorite हो जाता है. तो bowling has proved again कि they can win matches. और दूसरा ये कि बस एक चीज है कि we did defend 140 or 160, which is great. I wish कि थोड़ा score हम अपना average बढ़ा ले तो we will start winning more games.
बिल्कुल. I think हम उसी 150 to 170 में फंसे हुए हैं, especially setting a target. तो इस पे हम और आते हैं, but what do you think about captaincy? I think Asia Cup के final में all three of us, we were quite sort of unimpressed with the way Babar captained, not giving Nawaz his full quota, and when Sri Lanka was 58 for 5, it seemed that we didn't go for the kill. तो उसमें आपको कुछ लगता है कुछ improvement इस series में, some better choices were made by Babar? आसिफ, आपका क्या ख्याल है?
He's improving. I think I don't think he's the best captain we've had so far, but he is going to be our captain, so we have to get behind him. Joe, I think the 5th match it was that we won, that was a close match. He gave a debutant, Amr Javed, the last over. It worked out great, but hindsight is 2020. If we had lost that match, all everyone would be talking about would be Babar's captaincy and why do you give a debutant the last over? I think it was great, but his field placing has been better. His bowling decisions have been better. I still think he underuses Mohammad Nawaz. Even in one of these recent matches, he only got 2 overs for 9 runs. He's your attacking bowler. He's a wicket-taking bowler. I understand you adjust according to the situation, but I feel like he still has a little bit to learn. But, we know he's what we have for the World Cup. So we have to hope that he continues to improve and get better. And I like the fact that he does manage the batting lineup, adjusts accordingly. But obviously there's room for improvement. Let's hope the arc is very, very quick before the World Cup starts.
Right. No, I agree. I also feel that even in the games that we won, there were some areas that he could have sort of made better choices. For example, जो जिस game के अंदर I think this was the fourth game, the one where Hasnan went for 24 odd runs. उसके अंदर I felt कि जो field placing थी, not having the third man at the boundary, keeping it up, I think was a tactical mistake, and the English batters kept on sort of deliberately, guiding the ball to the third man boundary. So इस तरह की मुझे भी नजर आई हैं, but overall, I think I agree this is a work in progress, and we can have a separate discussion in an ideal scenario who should be the captain. But you're right. I mean, this is what we have, so we have to back.
The devil's advocate in that particular example could be that he had a field set and Hasnan just didn't bowl to the field. We don't know. We don't know what they talked about beforehand. Hasnan, and we, of course, we'll talk about this later, has shown a lack of ability to stick to a plan and bowl with discipline. So it's very possible that they had a set line and length that they were going to bowl to, and Hasnan just strayed from that, which makes the captain look bad. I don't know. I think that we don't know everything about that, but that was a horrible over that I never want to relive again.
Right. No. अच्छा, इसके अलावा जो until the last game, जो जिसके अंदर हमारी bowlers की बड़ी पिटाई हुई है, I felt कि the fact that we were testing out our sort of second tier bowlers in the series was also a plus. And up till the last game, I thought they did a decent job, especially sort of the rise of the introduction of Jamal. And I was listening to some Indian anchors, and they were really impressed as well. कि यार ये पाकिस्तान में हर नया लड़का आपका आ जाता है, and he performs. तो bowling के बारे में आप क्या कहोगे कि how has the bowling been? Of course, the last game was, we went for plenty, and Phil Salt just, was annihilated us. But उसके अलावा उसको छोड़ के, broadly speaking, how would you rate our bowlers? मुदस्सिर, आप कुछ कहना चाहोगे इस पर?
Yeah, bowling, I mean, it's been excellent except for the last game. Defending 160 and then 145 is excellent, and the way they defended. I mean, again, we're gonna have an off game here and there. But थोड़ा ये last match में ये हुआ कि धानी का problem चल रहा है series में. I think they are giving room and उसको वो hit कर देते हैं और उसके पास फिर we don't see variety like.
Right.
वो he bowls wicket to wicket, या मगर जब उसको batsman room देके shot मारता है, then he has no answer. तो वो फंस
और उसकी जो stock ball है, जो वो good length या short pitch कराता है, which I think bouncy pitches पे तो चल जाती है, but इस pitch के ऊपर वो it was just standing up to be hit. So I thought Dhani obviously was found out. अच्छा, negatives के ऊपर आते हैं. So positives तो हैं definitely, Babar's form, close games, इफ्तिखार की presence, captaincy में भी improvement है. क्या चीजें हम बेहतर कर सकते थे, क्या चीजें ऐसी हैं जो हम persist कर रहे हैं? Middle order is of course a big one. इसके बारे में कुछ कहना चाहेंगे इसके अलावा? आसिफ?
हाँ जी, middle order. That's what it all is. Going into this series, 6 matches ago, we knew who our openers were, we knew who our fast bowlers were, we knew who our spinners were. The one question that was remaining is who is going to be our middle order. And we were hoping that one person or 2 people or 3 people would raise their hands and rise to the challenge. If you look at it, count the fast bowlers, count the openers, count the spinners, you have 7 spots taken. There are 4 places that need to be filled. You have Shan Masood, Haider Ali, Pushdil Shah, Iftikhar, Asif Ali. And unfortunately, aside from an odd innings here and there, nobody has really distinguished themselves. Iftikhar has shown a little bit of consistency in his effectiveness with the ball. I'd say he's the one person who maybe has shown that he belongs there, but nobody else has done anything, and it's not for lack of opportunity. I've got the scores here. Shan Masood, 7, 65 not out in one match, 21, 7 and 0. Haider Ali, 11, 3, 4, 18. Pushdil, 5 not out, 29, 2. Iftikhar, we know 28, 6, 15, 31. Asif Ali, 13, 5 and 9. So nobody is standing up to show us.
Haris को भी include कर लें. Haris की भी जो, although he got 1 inning, but he also.
But the bottom line is the question that we had going into this is the same question we have coming out, and that's very, very demoralizing, because that is the big onus on how you build a total. We can't rely on the openers all the time, and we have to figure out how to build a total from the openers to the closing. And we are no wiser now than we were when this all started, unfortunately.
So ये बिल्कुल आपने सही बात की है. I think Mudassir would also most likely agree with it. But then we can transition into the World Cup as well. Keep an eye on the World Cup. This is a problem that we have. We had this problem in the Asia Cup. This problem is still persisting. Does this mean then that we try other sort of batters? Of course, there's talk about Azam Khan. Shoaib Malik is a divisive issue. Some people are for him. Others don't want him for various reasons. But would you recommend, we still, of course, have time. I think October 12th or October 15th is the deadline where we can still make changes. So does this mean we try out something new for, the New Zealand, Bangladesh triangular, or would you keep on giving chances to these guys? And if so, इनमें से जो 4-5 आपने नाम लिए हैं, इनमें से किन को आप ज़्यादा, because we will have to drop 1 or 2 of them, right? So Iftikhar, I agree, probably is more secure, but out of the remaining ones, which ones do you still feel that we owe them some more opportunities? Mudassir, आप क्या कहोगे?
Yeah, but मसला असल में is World Cup is too close, so इस वक्त changes is not a good idea. I think जो मुझे problem लगता है, कैप्टेंसी को blame करना आसान है. मुझे लगता है पीछे से कोई काम ही नहीं है, analytics है, coaching है. We have to restart after the World Cup. जैसे again, it's a matter of opinion. Heather, we can all see he cannot middle. He cannot rotate the strike. अब उसको भेजे जा रहे हैं उसको 1 down या 2 down. Let's say last game में they could have sent Iftikhar because he can उसके बल्ले पे तो आ रही है कम से कम. One way to do it is Heather को इन्होंने इतना power as a power to use किया. He can be pushed back to 5 or 6. I think he has still more potential than Khushdil or anybody else. तो थोड़ा मुझे lack of flexibility लगी. जैसे एशिया कप में एक मैच में नवाज को भेजा या एक आध चेंजेस किए तो उससे बहुत बड़ा इम्पैक्ट था. तो उसके बाद I don't know रुक क्यों गए. शादाब की बैटिंग ही नहीं आई पिछले मैच में. The way he played PSL, अच्छा खासा वो he can be developed into a good middle order batsman. मेरे ख्याल से टीम ठीक है. एक आध प्लेयर जैसे मिडिल ऑर्डर में प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है अनफॉर्चुनेटली क्योंकि शान ने रन नहीं किए अभी फिलहाल, मगर आई थिंक दे नीड टू गिव सम मोर चांसेस टू शान. कम से कम जितने खुशदिल को दिए उतने तो जरूरी हैं. 3 मैच से नहीं होगा. यू हैव टू गिव एटलीस्ट 5-7 गेम्स ऑन अ ट्रॉट. और पहले मैच में शान में खिलाया तो उसको 2 डाउन खिला दिया. तो मेरी तो समझ से बाहर है कि ये जो प्लानिंग है ना उसमें दे लैग in planning basically. Or T20 is not like test cricket. Batting order एक आध change you can make according to the game situation.
तो शान को अगर आप खिलाओगे तो किस नंबर पे खिलाओगे? Because I think one of the issues, and this brings us to the opening question as well, is that if we go with Babar Rizwan opening, both of them are primarily anchors. I mean, they take some time. We know that they give us a solid foundation. But they won't go at like 150, 160. They will go at 120 to 140 strike rate. और अगर उनमें से कोई out होता है और फिर शान आ जाता है, तो शान also tends to take his time. He doesn't slog, right? So if you play Shan, where would that depend on the situation when he comes in, and what would be the good position for him then? Asif, आपका क्या ख्याल है?
I would actually keep him at number 3. I think he showed in that match when we were chasing 200 odd. That he scored 65 not out and 40 balls. He's shown that he has some ability to innovate and to be aggressive and to accelerate. So I think that I would keep him. Again, the opening combination, a lot can be said about it. I'm not in favor of these two being openers. Like it was said before, it elevates our floor, but it lowers our ceiling. But that's fine. If that's the way they're going to be, and we know that that's the way it will be for the World Cup, I think Sean at number 3 is fine because he will accelerate and he will go ahead. I think out of these 5 names we talked about, I'm a huge fan of Heatherly. I love the fact that they've given him this long run, but I think he's shown he's not up for it. And he's not middling the ball. He's not rotating the strike. He seems out of depth. He doesn't have the intent. He seems overwhelmed by the occasion. And that's fine. He will be there for future Pakistan cricket. But out of all of these, I would probably drop Heatherly. I mean, give him a match tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow somebody stands up and shows us that they belong in the team. The reason I would prefer Khushbil, even though Khushbil has not done very well, he's a lefty, so you have more variation. He's a bit of a hitter. He has spin ability as well. I think Heatherly is the odd man out of many odd men out. Nobody has distinguished themselves. If I had to eliminate one, I would do Heatherly. And again, for Sean, I would keep him at number 3 and hope that he can build from where the openers leave off and then transition into the hitters, which would be your Iftikhar, your Khushbil, Nawaz, Asif Ali, etc.
So in hindsight, then what you're saying is, जो एक शोर मचा हुआ था कि यार हैदर अली को ट्राई नहीं कर रहे एशिया कप में, हैदर अली को ट्राई नहीं कर रहे. Now after having seen him.
Yeah, so I think the thing to do is you say, look, these are 7 matches. You get to play all of these matches. Do not worry about being dropped. You play your game. You show us what you can do. And he's shown us, unfortunately, that he is not up for it right now. And this is how he's doing here. When you get to the bouncy pitches of Australia, his time is going to be more suspect. And, that's, I think, another negative here is that we've been found out with the short ball. And that's going to be a big problem from Australia, which is where the likes of Fakhr could be more helpful. But I think Heatherly is the one who has shown he's gotten an extended run, which is exactly what you want to do. He has not proven himself during this run. So you say, all right, we gave you your chance. We've seen what you can do. Unless he has 160 balls tomorrow, something like that. I think we say, we will keep you in our reserves for later, but right now you're just not up for it.
अच्छा, और आजम खान के बारे में आप लोगों ने कुछ नहीं कहा. I mean, he had an excellent CPL. He's excellent in against spin. I think spin के ऊपर हम इतना accelerate नहीं कर पाए, especially Asia Cup में. उसके बारे में, or is it like too late now, or would you still kind of consider him? I mean, I frankly like the way he played in CPL. I think he has great talent. I think Rashid Khan and there was some other good ballers as well that he played wonderfully against. So to me, I think he is someone that we can think about.
Where do you put him in the field?
Yeah, that's the only concern is his fitness. But I don't know, ये उसकी जो CPL की जो थी बारबेडोस, वो कहाँ पे उसको फील करवा रहे थे. Clearly उनको भी वो issue हुआ होगा. And I think that was the same, I think, issue जो शर्जील के साथ भी है. I think part of the reason he wasn't considered was his fitness. तो खैर अब हमने काफी चीजों पे अग्री कर लिया. लेट्स ट्राई कि हम वो चीजें भी लाएं जिसमें हो सकता है कि हमारी थोड़ी डिसएग्रीमेंट भी हो. So one is the role of the inclusion of Fakhr Zaman, right? So I think this is again a divisive issue. Fakhr clearly hasn't been in form lately. He underperformed in the Asia Cup, but there have been times, of course, where he's been a match winner. So he has that X factor. So my question to you guys is that the official news right now is, and I don't know if that's true or not, the official version is that he's injured. And let's just assume that that's true, and let's assume that he makes a recovery before the World Cup. In that case, would you include him then? I mean, currently वो reserve के अंदर है. Would you upgrade him to the top 15? And if so, who do you think needs to come out of our 15 to make room for Fakhr?
Again, मेरा तो इस पे काफी clear है. It's not about Fakhr. मैं आपको साल देता हूँ. We had to chase 200. चलो उस दिन कर गए बाबर और रिजवान. जिस दिन 220 करना था, the match was over after power play. So you need to score 60-70 run जैसे इंग्लैंड ने खेला. तो I think T20 में चाहे फखर हो चाहे शर्जील हो या XYZ, you need an aggressive opener. और गोल ठीक है, आप हर रोज करने की जरूरत नहीं है, मगर जब when you are chasing 220 आप मैच ही नहीं जीत सकते जब तक आप 70 रन नहीं करोगे पावर प्ले में. अदरवाइज गेम इज ओवर. अगर हम 30-40 रन किए तो गेम वही हुआ. उस दिन हमने पावर प्ले में मैच हार गए चेस करते हुए, और कल इतने ज्यादा रन पड़े कि वो मैच फिर खत्म हो गया था 3 ओवर. तो बाबर रिजवान को सब क्रिटिसिज्म है स्ट्राइक रेट का, ये भी सब गलत है. इफ यू लुक एट द नंबर्स, 130-134 difference between Babar, Kohli, it's not a big deal. Alex Hales की शायद 136 है. It's not about strike rate. Problem ये है कि they are very similar players. तो उसमें ही होता है. और चलो अगर आपने दोनों को खिला भी दिया, अगर उनमें से दोनों आउट हो गया तो मैच तो खत्म हो गया, पीछे कोई है ही नहीं. तो मेरा तो हमेशा सही है कि बाबर should come one down. which is a better spot for him or any player of his caliber. बाकी विराट कोहली से लेके Steve Smith, Kane Williamson, and even David Milan is an anchor too. So you keep your anchor at number 3. हमारे यहाँ वो दोनों ओपन करते हैं कि चलो चल गया तो ठीक है, 150, 160, 180 भी शायद कर जाएंगे हम लोग, मगर अगर मुझसे एक आउट हुआ तो प्रॉब्लम होती है, और अगर रिजवान आउट हो जाए ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम हो रही थी क्योंकि बाबर आउट ऑफ फॉर्म था. तो मेरे ख्याल से अगर बाबर वन डाउन पे आ जाए तो उसमें फिर वी कैन टेक अ चांस विद एनी एग्रेसिव प्लेयर लाइक फखर. फखर हैड अ ग्रेट PSL वर्ल्ड कप में, उसकी वजह से वी केम बैक इनटू द गेम जिस तरह उसने स्टार्क को हिट किया था. आई नो ही विल बी पैची, मगर people like Fakhar needs to open with Rizwan, क्योंकि जो बड़े स्कोर वाले गेम होंगे वो पावर प्ले में डिसाइड हो जाते हैं. He cannot recover after power play.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I don't want.
No, go ahead.
I'm a huge Fakhar fan, but at the same time, you have to be fair. And his run of form was so terrible during Asia Cup and before that, it merited being dropped. I understand that. If he is fit, the question is he playing in place of someone who deserves to be in the team? Again, nobody has shown that they are more deserving, aside from maybe Iftikhar, but none of these guys have performed. So that's where I would put Fakhar, and I think that his natural position is opener, but even at number 3, I would keep him. I looked at some numbers yesterday, looking at performances of these Pakistan players overseas in T20s, excluding the subcontinent. So performances in Australia, South Africa, New Zealand, Zimbabwe, England, Ireland, West Indies. And out of all of these, Iftikhar, Asif, Khurshid, Fakhar, Haider, Fakhar has far more experience. He has the best average, 24.7, and a high score of 91. He has shown that he can perform overseas. Yes, his form is streaky. Yes, he makes some mistakes that you think, why is he doing that? But you also have this high risk, high reward. There are matches where he will take it away for you. And he's a good fielder, except for that one match against India in the Asia Cup, which is the worst match he has ever played on a big stage. But I think Fakhar has shown the experience and the success in big matches and small matches where he can lead us. And again, there's nobody else proving that they are more deserving than him, at least not in the last 6 matches.
Right. तो इसके अंदर अब अगेन अब फखर को हम इंक्लूड करते हैं तो वी हैव टू ड्रॉप समवन. मेरा पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू इसमें ये था बिकॉज हमारा प्रॉब्लम हमें बैटिंग में ही आ रहा है, बॉलिंग मोर और लेस इज फिक्स्ड. व्हाई आर वी कैरिंग कादिर फॉर एग्जांपल? I mean, Kadir we know is not going to play as long as Shadab is there. There's no room for Kadir. Middle order हमारा अभी तक फिक्स नहीं है, तो हो सकता है हमें 1-2 कॉम्बिनेशंस ट्राई करनी पड़े. वो वर्क ना किया तो हम कोई और कॉम्बिनेशंस ट्राई करें. तो उसमें आप फखर को अगर आपने इंक्लूड करना तो आप कादर को भी ड्रॉप कर सकते हो. और अगर खुदा ना खास्ता शादाब इंजर होता है तो उस वक्त फिर आप एक रिप्लेसमेंट पिटिशन कर सकते हो ICC से कि भी हमें रिप्लेसमेंट चाहिए.
और उसमें भी आपके इफ्तिखार और खुशदिल दोनों हैं who can bowl. Actually, Fakhar can bowl too, but that's fine. I won't say it.
Yeah.
I have a question actually. कि जो है, if Fakhar somehow makes it into the team, natural opener, Shan Masood is a natural opener. Can you play these 2 openers of Rizwan and Babar and have Fakhar and Shan in the team at the same time?
मेरा नहीं ख्याल. वो जब किसी ने पूछा था सिलेक्टर से कि शान का, तो सब ने उसको बुरा भला कहा था. मैं मुझे भी समझ नहीं, मगर he was right कि शान का प्रॉब्लम ये है कि he cannot play at number 4. मैं आप जबरदस्ती बना दो उसको, वो अलग बात है, मगर he has to play in top 3. तो उसमें ये है कि अगर फखर आउट ऑफ फॉर्म है या कोई और हमें प्लेयर मिल जाता है who can play aggressive डोमेस्टिक में, 1-2 लोग ही ज्यादा फरहान का नाम आता है ओपनिंग में, एक जिससे में वो टीम में
कामरान गुलाम है, वो भी कर रहा है.
कामरान गुलाम ओपनर नहीं है.
हां नहीं, वन डाउन
कलंदर, साइम अयूब, सादादा फरहान और एक आध लोग ही हैं, तो मे बी दे कैन ओपन एट सम पॉइंट.
It's too soon, right?
World Cup में तो I think we pretty much.
So, but I agree to keep it simple. I don't think these 4 can play together. Babar, Rizwan, Shan or Fakhar. No, I don't think so.
I mean, if Fakhar comes in the team, that makes the decision for us, more or less, right?
और I think इनकी जो आप कह रहे हो ना number 1, number 2, I tend to think of this more than number 1, number 2 के overs कितने हुए हैं. You know कि अगर आपकी फौरन अगर आपकी विकेट गिर गई है और आपको थोड़ी सी स्टेबलाइजेशन की जरूरत है तो मे बी शान माइट बी अ गुड ऑप्शन, बिकॉज थोड़ा सा एंकर आपको दे देगा.
I think
At the
Babar
same
number
time,
3 would be great.
Yeah.
Right.
अगर बाबर number 3 तो problem
Babar comes as an anchored number 3, it'd be great.
हाँ, अगर बाबर आ जाता है 3 पे तो वो तो, but we are going with the assumption कि वो नहीं हो रहा, I mean regardless of what we feel. तो उस केस में फिर अगर हमें थोड़ी stability चाहिए तो you can have someone like Shan who can provide stability. But if they've already played like the openers, Rizwan and Babar have already played like 12-13 overs.
Yeah.
And now it's time to launch. You don't want to send Shan at that stage. At that stage, someone like Fakhr or someone even like, I don't know, Asif, who can.
So Asif, one of the criticisms we get is that he never plays enough deliveries because his 6-to ball ratio is so high. He has had 2 opportunities in this series to actually build an innings, and he has failed on both occasions. He hits a boundary and then his brain, look, I want Pakistan to succeed, and if Asif is part of that, I'm all for it. He has won 3 matches for us last year. He has not shown the ability to stay at the wicket, and if he just shows a little bit of discipline, stays for a few deliveries, when there is time, he can be absolutely destructive. And so I was really excited when Asif came in the 12th and 13th over these last few matches, because I thought, let him hit around, let him get his eye in, and then he will just destroy the opposition. Unfortunately, he did not come up to the task, which is yet another one of our middle order batsmen failing when they had the opportunity.
Right. Yeah, but in सारों में जो आपने नाम लिए हैं, which are question marks, Haider, Pushtil, Asif, इन तीनों में से फिर भी I would probably rate Asif slightly higher than the 2, because again he has that X factor. I know he's not been consistent.
He has won for us, so yes.
Yeah, he's won for us. आपका जो अफगानिस्तान वाली game थी, before Naseem came and hit those 2 sixes, उसका groundwork पहली ball के ऊपर उसको राशिद खान को मारना, और of course we know जो अफगानिस्तान के against उसने जो थे छक्के मारे थे. So he has that potential, and of course हम एक ही तरह के एक ही टाइप के प्लेयर्स नहीं रख सकते. We need someone कि अगर आपकी 12-13 की आपको required run rate है, तो who is that one player who can, if he has a good day, bring that run rate down? So उसमें फिर भी I would say कि maybe someone like Asif could be him.
So one thing I'd say about Asif Ali is we have still not seen the best version of Asif Ali, and hopefully we get to see that in the World Cup, because that would make a huge difference for us. So as frustrating as it is to watch him, I think he'll be selected, and I hope we get to see the best version of him, because that will be the difference between winning and losing in more than a few matches.
Yes, I totally agree, and I think one thing which we haven't discussed is overall our bowling, especially अगर हमारे जो frontline bowlers हैं, अगर वो सारे वापस आ जाते हैं, the bowling alhamdulillah looks really good. If Shaheen comes back, Shaheen, Naseem, Rauf, हमारे जो frontline bowlers हैं, plus with Shadab and Nawaz, I think we make for a really good bowling attack. Hopefully this middle order will be fixed in the games to come. We still have a few games,
and hopefully the bowlers become fit.
Exactly. So there's a question mark. Hopefully abhi jo we know ke Bumrah वापस आया, he wasn't the same Bumrah, and then he got injured again. So fingers crossed ke Shaheen jo hai, he makes a good recovery and then he performs the way he left. And same work for Naseem. I mean, Naseem again with his pneumonia, hopefully he gets fit. And but the 3 of them, Shaheen, Naseem, and Rauf, along with the 2 spinners, I think they would make for a really good bowling attack. So this was essentially it about the first episode. But I'd just like to once again thank our guests, and I'll try to close with just one question, which is about I'm going to ask them about, as we mentioned, all of us are cricket enthusiasts and big Pakistani fans, and we've grown up watching Pakistani games. So what is that one game maybe that they really remember, which has stuck with them over the years? And that game could be a game that they watched in person in the stadium, or it could be some game that they watched on TV. So koi ek unki memory about a Pakistani game and how that relates to the current state of affairs of Pakistan. So who'd like to go first? Asif, would you like to start?
For me, it was way back in the 1987 Reliance World Cup. I just moved from the US to Pakistan and was just getting into cricket. And the match in Rawalpindi, Pakistan versus England, where we were defending 237. It was the first match I went to live. And this was a big England team. You know, you had De Freitas, you had Mike Gadding, Chris Broad. I mean, really, really big batsmen. And you had a Pakistan team with fighters like Salim Yusuf, a teenage Ijaz Ahmed. Salim Malik was just coming into his own. Ramiz Raja actually used to bat well at that time. So this was a match which we defended through true grit. And I think you saw that the output was greater than the sum of the individual parts. There was team spirit. And I think right now we see a team that is a lot of times because of selection issues, they're batting for themselves. They're playing for themselves. So the way they show the chemistry, like in those close matches, if you are all playing for Pakistan, you're all, you know, trying to do it with the right spirit, with the right intention, this team cannot be beatable, I think, in the right conditions. So they have to really get that team spirit, the patriotism, and the desire, the drive to win. And I think that if that happens, we will be very, very tough to beat.
Very good. Yeah. That was definitely, you know, a time period, a golden time period for Pakistan, the one that you're referring to. Mirza, would like to add something? कुछ आपकी कुछ memories?
हाँ, मेरा तो clear favorite है इंडिया पाकिस्तान जब शोएब अख्तर ने 2 आउट किए थे back to back, तेंदुलकर and
अच्छा, वो कलकत्ता वाले आप
Calcutta, yeah, the test match. When was it?
Yeah, I think we were in college. I remember being 99, yeah.
99.
98, 99.
That was my. I think it. वो जो scene है ना, वो तो cricket में वो Hall of Fame.
You watching live?
Yeah, I watched it live. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was.
ये वही टेस्ट मैच है जिसमें वो कंट्रोवर्शियल रन आउट भी हो गया था.
Yes. Tendulkar ka, yes.
Tendulkar का रन आउट, right? And then वो फिर crowd issues भी हो गए थे, and then yeah, it was a very close game and it was a good turnaround. And interestingly, मेरा भी उसी time period, I think all three of us, we remember that time period because, you know, we were a gun team at that time. मुझे जो एक match है जो हमेशा मुझे याद रहता है, it's not as famous a game as the one that you're referring to. This is the Coca-Cola Trophy tournament between Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and West Indies, 1999 in Sharjah. Or this was this game against Sri Lanka where we had made 190 odd, about 195. And Sri Lanka was about 175 for 2. Mm-hmm. So they needed 24 runs in 10 overs, and they had 8 wickets in hand. Yeah. And then Saklan got a wicket, and then uske baad Wasim Akram and Razak, they just was बिल्कुल, और वो जब कि उन्होंने टाई कर दिया था गेम. तो मुझे जो उससे वो याद होता है कि वो एक टाइम पीरियड था, उसके अंदर एज क्रिकेट फैंस हम आखिरी मिनट तक हमारी एक होप होती थी कि यार जितनी भी अगर टफ है, हमारी बॉलिंग इतनी स्ट्रांग है और एक सेंस ऑफ बिलीफ है कि वी कैन कम बैक. वो जिसको उस्मान समीउद्दीन वो कहता है कि जी हाल एक हो जाता था पाकिस्तान टीम का कि वंस दे गेट इनटू दैट जोन दे बिकम रियली टफ टू बीट. अभी उसकी थोड़ी सी ग्लिम्पसेस नजर आई हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल ये जो नसीम शाह ने 2 छक्के मारे हैं, अभी जो लास्ट 1-2 गेम्स हुई हैं कि वो यू नो दे नीडेड इंग्लैंड नीडेड 5 रन्स एंड दे हैड 3 विकेट्स इन हैंड, और उस पोजीशन से हमें मैच को जीत जाना. यू नो, सो वी सी ग्लिम्पसेस ऑफ दैट. आई थिंक देयर वाज अ टाइम पीरियड के as a cricket fan it was quite disappointing. I would say the early 2000s or the mid 2000 onwards, this decade. But now the last, I would say 3, 4, 5 years, with the emergence of Babar Azam and Rizwan as batters, bowling bhi hamari improved with the emergence of Shaheen, and you know this belief कि यार हम जीत सकते हैं और हम tough situation से भी वापस कर सकते हैं. I think that's coming back. Hopefully, we keep on going in that trajectory. So with this, we come to the conclusion of our first episode. Again, the idea here was just to review the England series, Pakistan-England series, with an eye on the upcoming World Cup. Hopefully, we will have more episodes for you in future. Hopefully for the triangular coming up and the World Cup. We hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Asif, and thank you, Mudassir.
Pakistan Zindabad.
Pakistan Zindabad.
He's on absolute fire. This could be the moment.